back to nursing December of 2018 at Lorraine County Community College.
Lorraine.
And then,
That's a good school.
it was just taking me too long. I was like, I want to get this stuff done and over with. So let me find another school. So then I found Bryant and Stratton. And I went to Bryant Stratton. I finished there August of 2022. In September, 2 days before my wedding, I took the first NCLEX.
2 days before her wedding. What's wrong with that sound? Stress. Who's planned a wedding? I've been married 17 times, so we know that I've planned my share, and it's stressful. I got married right after toe-to-toe one day. So I was like, toe-to-toe come first. Sorry.
I took my test, and I was like, I'm going to be so excited to announce at like my reception. I'm a nurse, too. And yeah, that
She just wanted to get it all done.
She just wanted it all. Get me
Yeah,
a
I just
man,
wanted it
get me a
all.
test, get everything done.
That's it.
So then I failed, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna take it again. I took it again after my like 45 days, took it again, didn't pass. So
One of the things I want to say, did you hear when she took it again?
45 days.
Never do that. So many of you come in my class and say, well, until you told me I couldn't, I was just going to test in 45. Well, what changed?
right, nothing.
What have you done differently? I talk to people online all the time. I'm just going to test in 45. Wrong answer. It takes a minute to really study. That 45-day mark is so that you don't turn around and test tomorrow. But some of y'all take that 45-day mark as like what you have to do. No, you don't have to test in 45 days. That's the closest you could test. But I would say 99% of you are never ready to test in 45 days. Never. So don't do that. Please don't do that.
So after I tested again, I was like, all right, let me try to study. Because I thought first, oh, okay, I didn't pass the first time because it was too close to my wedding. So let's
How
not
many questions did you get out of that one?
The first one was 114.
Oh, okay, not too bad.
So I had 114, but I think I finished in like an hour and a half.
Oh, no. Did y'all hear that? Wrong answer.
Yeah.
Click, click, click.
Right. That's why I couldn't remember.
I got a wedge.
Right.
What my cake gonna look like? Click.
Right.
Wonder if the flowers gonna be on time. Click.
Pretty much. So then after my second time, I was like, all right, let me study some more. So I did, well, before I took the first one, I did the Mark K class.
He's a good guy.
And I did learn a lot in that class, but
Yeah.
it was like all crammed into like, what was it, like 3 or 4 days? So it was a lot.
Okay,
It was
so
like
it was a live class.
Yeah, we did it, me and one of my friends I went to school with did it, and it was like online, it was virtual, but it was like a whole 8 hours with like a half-hour break in between.
Okay.
So it was like in 4 days in a row. So it was a lot crammed
Did they make
in.
you pay for it?
No, school paid for it.
That's good.
Yeah, they paid for it. So then after the second time I did Uworld and I got Kaplan.
Both?
Well, I did a little bit of Uworld because I still have my Uworld subscription, and then I was like, let me try something else, let me try Kaplan. So I tried Kaplan and I failed the third time.
You hated the Kaplan.
Yeah, I didn't like the Kaplan. It's like some type of decision tree, and
I never understood it. That's the only thing. Some
Yes,
people get it, I
it's
just
not.
didn't.
And it's like a self-paced thing, and I need structure. That's why I like Shelly's class. She's like, come in, okay, do this, do these questions, do this, do these questions. But like Kaplan was like, go at your own pace, and
Do you remember
my
the
pace was
scores
slow.
you were getting on Uworld?
They were like in the 50s, 50, 60.
So I see a lot of people, you probably see the same, and they think that all they have to do is questions. How many people know people like that? Like they just think they gotta just do a bunch of questions. And that's okay if you went to a really good school, had decent clinicals, COVID never existed, that would be great. But because COVID just destroyed your education, honestly, not your fault. It destroyed the way we do things in nursing, and then put that together with 3/4 of the schools in Ohio suck ass, seriously. You need something more than just questions. You need content. You need to be really taught the content. So just doing questions, nah, that ain't gonna get it.
Yeah. So that didn't help me much. So after I failed my third time, I reached out to previous instructors. I reached out to like other people that were nurses. I'm like,
What do I do?
I looked up Boosta. They said we retired. I
Yeah,
even sent them an
they
email.
quit.
I'm like, how much do I have to pay you to like private lessons? And they were like, sorry, we retired. So
How much did they used to charge for private lessons? $3,000.
Oh, well then that wouldn't even work.
So I'm just trying to give you insight into how your money goes in this
Right.
class, and that's for 2 weeks, I think.
3,000 for 2 weeks?
Absolutely.
So two of my old instructors, one you know, Tracy Greathouse, she was like, look up Shelly.
She was the March of Dimes Nurse of the Year, and she was a policewoman before that. And she gave me my metal badge, so that if I want to rob the bank and set it off, I can.
Yeah, she is such a sweetheart, and she was like, go to Shelly. She was like, she goes,
Shout out to Tracy Greathouse from Metro.
Yes.
We love you.
She was my clinical instructor at Bryant and Stratton, so like she knew how I learned best, and she knew my personality, and she's like, you're gonna love Shelly. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I was telling my dad about it. I was like, I found this class that I'm gonna take, blah blah blah, and it was set in stone. I started contacting you. I go home and my husband's like, I found this woman on YouTube. He was like
He was on YouTube.
he was like, look at her. So I'm watching the video. I said, that's who I'm taking. I was like, that's Shelly. So he had like found you on YouTube, and then I started like coming to class, and I was like, my focus was two subjects a week. Like I can master 2 subjects every time.
Let's talk about that, because we told you guys, if you're really doing it the way you should, you're supposed to master 2 subjects a week. So tell them when you started.
We went on vacation. We were on a cruise, and the minute we got back to the airport from the boat to come back home, I was doing Uworld questions.
And when was
So
that?
that was, when was that? When did we come back?
What month?
I don't know. May, maybe?
May.
Yeah.
And she failed 3 times. Some of y'all been here longer than Christ left Jerusalem. Yeah.
And we
I
had
need
like,
y'all to know it don't take all that. It takes sincere dedication, nonstop, 24/7, 365.
Right.
Just keep plugging along. Seriously. She has not been here long. Just hasn't been here that long.
And that was, we had July 4th break.
We had a break.
You had
I went on a cruise.
Yeah, you had a cruise. We had another like another holiday break or something, Memorial Day. Yeah. So that was like with breaks too. So whenever I had that break, I was like, this is my opportunity to bust out 3 subjects then.
Hey!
So I was trying to I just wanted to get in and get out.
And this is huge, because it's your 4th test, and that test is big.
Yeah, I felt like it was harder. Like they tell you, like it's your tests get harder as you take them. I feel like it was harder, but I felt like I knew the material better from the classes. And like people have asked me, like, was Uworld helping you? Like I feel like Uworld was helping me, but Shelly's videos are the truth. Like I learned more from Shelly than I did in school. I was in school for 18 months. Like I was here for how many months, and like
So
Shelly.
So like I wouldn't have been able to do this without you, Shelly. Like the tricks that you taught, like, you know, whenever we did our you know, assessments, and I'm trying to like listen, like they don't tell you what
How to do it.
Like glass. I never heard of glass before. And I'm like, that's the easy way, because I used to always sit there and think like, I don't know what's in the upper right hand quadrant. But now it's like, okay, I want to know that.
Upper right hand quadrant, I got that.
So like, I just feel like once you're done with your schooling, come take Shelly, because don't do it on your own.
Tell them where you interviewed. This is exciting.
So then Tuesday I took my test last Tuesday. This Tuesday, or yesterday, I took, I had an interview for labor and delivery and mother baby. And then Thursday, I'm gonna have an interview for pediatrics. So like, there's so many opportunities. Like people, I already work in pediatrics, so I just figured out.
interviewed?
Fairview.
Yeah, that's Cleveland Clinic, right?
That's where I work. Yep.
Yeah.
So, like there's so many there's so many opportunities. I'm like,
now tell them about a friend you met that reminded you about your mom.
My friend Kenyatta.
Yeah, you guys meet solid friendships in class up in here.
And that's what I was telling Kim. I was like, you know, like everything happens for a reason. And there's a reason why I didn't pass the first time. There's a reason why I didn't pass the second time. There's a reason I didn't pass the third time, and now I'm getting mad. But there's always Listen, there's
pissing you off just thinking about it.
There's always a reason.
Always a reason.
And like, if I passed the first time, I wouldn't have met Shelly. If I passed the second time, I wouldn't have met Kim. If I passed the third time, then I wouldn't have like had this experience.
Right.
And like,
and you wouldn't know your shit because what was on your test? A lot of maternity.
A lot of maternity. But like, it's just everything like happens for a reason. And like
show them your tattoo.
I have a this. Okay, so my mom passed. Okay, so I started school in 2018, December 2018. February 2019, my mom passed away. So when I was at my dad's house, I spent the night there that night that she passed away, and I'm like telling my mom, I was like, Mom, give me a sign. This is Dad's house. I don't care. Break a door, break some glass, turn lights on and off, do something. Let me know that you're okay. And so then nothing ever happened. I'm like, okay, well, she's probably giving me signs and I'm just not even listening. So the day of her funeral, I went outside, and this was in February, the end of February, and it was really windy, not snowing. It was like a nice day, but it was super windy. And I went out to my car to get something, and there was the smallest, teeniest, tiniest feather on my car. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, Dad. So I go in, run, tell my dad. I was like, Dad, there's a feather on my car. I'm pretty sure it's Mom. Like, it's like one of her little angel wings. She's like, here I am, baby. So since then, I find feathers everywhere. Like, I find feathers in my house sometimes. I don't have any feathered down pillows, nothing. We live in an apartment.
That's
I'm
her
like,
little
I'm like, BJ,
sign.
look, I found a white feather in our bedroom. That's my mom. So I find feathers everywhere. So when Kim went to Jamaica, my mom was in Jamaica kicking it with Kim. She came home with a feather and feather earrings, and I was like, what?
And Virginia Beach.
Yes, and she went to Virginia Beach. Yeah, so like, being in this class, now me and Kim have a bond, and forever. Yes, we have the same lotus flower tattoo.
And they have the same tattoos on their arms.
Like,
on the same arms.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Before they never knew each other.
Like, God will put people in your life for a reason.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. The night before I took my test, I took a shower, I'm bawling my eyes out, and I was like, God, I said, I've done everything that I can do, and I'm putting it in your hands. If I pass this time, it's meant to be. If not, then we're gonna do this again. But
no, you weren't gonna fail that test.
No, I walked in there. I was like, "This is the last time I'm coming in here." I'm not doing the night before the test. I went to sleep. I said, "This is the last time I'm taking. I'm going to sleep as a medical assistant because I'm waking up tomorrow a nurse."
Yes, amen.
Now remember the maternity test you took last week? Okay, so the average score, because I do averages on different tests I give you, was about 70s. What was your score?
54.
What did I call you and say?
The day before my test, she was like, "What are you studying?" I was like, I listened to infectious disease, and I'm looking at the pink packets. She said, "Girl, you better study maternity because that test sucks." I was like, I said, "Oh, am I really ready?" So I was like, "All right, let me look at my maternity packet." I got because my Uworld subscription expired, so I got out my NCLEX 4000. I was like, "Let me do a whole bunch of maternity questions." So I did a whole bunch of maternity questions. Well, not a whole bunch. I did like 30.
Yeah.
And I got like a 74% on it. So I was like, all right, I think I'm doing better. So I just like re-looked over my maternity packet, looked at my NCLEX quickies and stuff, and
did that shit.
Yep.
She texted me like, Shelly just called me and just made me nervous as hell.
Right. I was like, Shelly prepped me up the week before. I was like, I'm nervous. She's like, I'm not. You're about to be a motherfucking nurse. And then the day before my test, she's like, girl, your last test was bad.
I should have just called me with some bullshit.
It's a little bit of an example of how I never stopped thinking of you. So I'm thinking, okay, she's testing. I didn't really like her maternity test. I will slit my wrist if I don't call her and say something and she doesn't do well and she gets a shitload of maternity. I think I'll just give her a little bug in her ear to study maternity the night before. And you know, when I call anybody, they're worried, right? Obviously. But I'm just thinking, if I don't call, she'll hate my guts because I just know I have a feeling, I have a gut. This is a ministry. He sends me signs. This is maternity. And sure shit, it's maternity.
Like 65% of my test.
That's
bet.
crazy.
Maternity.
That's crazy.
It was a lot of maternity. So like whenever you called, it was like, because I took a week off of work.
Oh,
to like
tell them about
yes.
that.
So I took a week off of work to study, and I was like, all right.
Some of y'all call off every other Tuesday.
I was like, all right.
I'm gonna need you to save your time and step back to retarded.
So I had some PTO, and so I went to my manager. I was like, I need this day, this day, this day, and this day off. I did work Saturday for only like 4 hours, but then whenever I came home, I was studying again. And like I would study for a little bit, and then me and my husband would watch like a movie. I would chill for a little bit.
Break it up a little.
Yep. Study again. Then the day before my test, I listened to the infectious disease lecture. Then got my infectious disease packet out and looked at that. So whenever you called, we was in the middle of the movie. I was like, mute the TV. It's showing. So I get on the phone, and I was like, oh my god.
Don't tell her.
She thinks I'm studying. We can't have a TV in the background.
Melanie, tell him like what was that, a week before you had to help your husband because BJ had
Oh yeah, he had surgery.
Yeah.
And then his sutures came out. We took sutures. Well, they took the sutures out the same day. It split back open.
Oh, stop it!
So then I'd take him back to the doctor.
Horrible.
We had to take him back to the doctor, and they're like, well, if it doesn't heal back in like 3 days, you're gonna have to bring him in. So I was like, all right. So I called, took a picture on Monday, sent them the picture. They called me. Can you bring him in tomorrow at 9? I was like, my test is at 1 o'clock. I wanted to spend this whole morning studying, like cramming. So I'm like, all right. So we went to the doctor. I took all my pink packets with me. I'm sitting in the office just reading pink packets.
In the office?
Yep. Took my pink packets. I took my earbuds in case I wanted to listen to something while he's doing his thing. And I was like,
You made it happen.
yeah. So I was like, I got a test to pass. I ain't got time for
Yeah,
all
that's
this.
amazing. Well, I always want to congratulate the better halves as well. So let me remind you on page 3 of your Oh My God packet, number, let's see, which one is it? 14. It states, if you are sleeping with the enemy, especially a broke one, cut the ties now. So we say that because sometimes it's not you. It's somebody you're with that's bringing you down. So I applaud someone who's with you, who bring you up. So come on, baby. She broke his foot right before the class.
Just so I can get practice being a nurse.
Right. And I'm gonna be real serious with you, first of all. I've been doing this a long time. I have students who miss class, who quit and join, who drop out and come back, who do all this crazy stuff. And sometimes the reason why they're missing class or they're stopping and starting is they're being beat up at home. And I mean beat up really bad. Sometimes the reason why they're missing class is because they can't get their mind off the fact that they've been married 20 years and he just cheated with their sister. Sometimes they're missing class because this person is breaking their spirit, making them think that they're less than nothing and not worthy of even a license. So why are you even going to class? Some of those people are here today. So I want you to know you are the shit.
Yes.
It really means a lot. It does.
Yeah, every time I would like feel down on myself, he'd be like, babe, you got this. Or if I'm like studying, he was like, he would like, there's times he would come and grab my laptop and be like, stop, you've been doing this for 2 hours.
Cut it out.
You need to take a break. And I'm like, okay. Okay. So,
behind every good nurse, there's a real man or woman that supported him. I'm gonna get a picture for you. Break your other leg. Now hold on, honey.